What's going on, YouTubers? Welcome to another video. So, right now in my collection, I own one life-size, the endoskeleton. I love it. I think it's awesome. And I wanted to talk about what I would do for life-size in all my other rooms. Now, in a perfect world, I'd actually have version 1. This is version 2 of Sideshow. I prefer version 1. I think it's better. It has a better base. I prefer the single gun to the double gun pose. I just think it looks better. So in a perfect world, we'd have version 1 right here. The only thing I worry about is when the gun is forward. It is such a space hog. As long as it doesn't block the TV, that's okay. You know, but I do like this general pose, the gun up. I just wish that gun was gone. You know, I wish I could just remove it and just have an empty, hand, similar to that poster. I wish it was the pose of the poster, actually. So I want kind of a combination of both. And this one, of course, I added a bunch of crap to make it look better. Because, frankly, they had just like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 skulls in the back of a skull. That wasn't enough for me. I guess some teeth right there. So I added 2 skulls, a bunch of grenades, a cigarette, and the chip, and then the logo. I definitely think it improves it. But in general, I want endoskeleton for this room. Like, that is the life size I want for this room. I would not exchange it for anything else. Endoskeleton is the life size for this room, no matter what. Like, I'd take it over a life size Predator, Alien, or even an Arnold. Endo for me is the boss. Now, for the Marvel DC room, it's got to be really only one of 2 choices. Queen Studios life-size Iron Spidey. And if I was to get it, I'd put it there in the closet. I think that would be the best spot for it. Basically, remove that Joker shelf and put it right there. And if I had it, I'd want to put the Tom Holland bust next to it. Or, it doesn't have to be, but it would. Tom Holland bust could go right here, life-size Spidey there. I think that would be sick. But life-size Spider-Man would be option A. Option B would be the life-size Queen Studios Bale Batman. Keep that bust and then do the Bale Batman, not the one with the swap out head, just the standard life-size Bale. And then, of course, have that right next to it. I think that would also be extremely cool, because I'm a huge fan of Bale. Hence I devoted this entire section to The Dark Knight Rises. So those would be the only 2 life-size I'd consider for this room. I guess the other one would be Iron Man. Either Mark 7, I really like the Mark 7 version, or the Mark 85. Those would be the 2 I would choose. Or Mark 50. 50 or 85. Those would be the only other 2 I would consider. But generally I would prefer Spider-Man over Iron Man because I like Spider-Man more. Or Batman. But I would definitely consider an Iron Man as well. So that was what I would do in this room. All right, for the video game room, of course, number 1 choice would be life-size Kratos, the Blue Box Hyper version. That would be a dream, and I almost bought it. However, $20,000, folks, plus shipping. And the pose, it was okay. He was just holding Mimir, not holding like the axe or anything, which was a little disappointing. But I did overall love that, and I would have loved to have gotten it. But man alive, $20K, folks. That's just so much money. But that's definitely the one life size I would want. And I'd probably, put it like in the corner over there. Life size, you generally want to have a good amount of space. But let's say we remove one garage shelf and throw it in the corner of it there, or even like right here. I suppose if I was to consider another life size, of course, Tifa Lockhart. All right, serious note. Could you imagine a life-size Goro? Now, that wouldn't even fit in here. But a life-size Scorpion. MKX Scorpion. I would be so down to get that. I love that MKX Scorpion bust. It's sick. And it's the only, good Scorpion bust out there. MK9 was pretty cool, but MKX is way better. I still want an upgraded version of Scorpion. I want Infinity Studios half torso Scorpion bust. But if we're talking life size, I would kill to get a life-size Scorpion. I mean, you could do it, frankly, just the same pose as that 1/3. That would be completely fine. Just holding this chain, that would be sick. You know, like a real metal chain, holding that. Those would be the two main characters I would want in this room. Like, the two life-size I would definitely want. Scorpion, Kratos. And, of course, who wouldn't want a Tifa Lockhart? Or a Stellar Blade Eve. Oh, my goodness. Alrighty, folks, let's talk about this room. Believe it or not, I've seen a life-size Optimus Prime bust in person, like a true life-size. It was at the Yexel Toy Museum, and it took up an entire, like, factory. It was so big. So for this room, I think it'd have to be Lord of the Rings, you know. And it would be a Gollum, a life-size Gollum. Now, that is something I seriously do want. You know, like, there is 2 Golems being made right now that I know of. Andy Wright, he made a life-size. He's on, like, rock, and then he's just bent over holding this ring. The pose is okay, not the biggest fan, but it could definitely fit here. Like, if you remove this shelf, remove all these statues, you could easily fit a life-size Gollum right there. And I'd freaking love that. I love Gollum. I think he's super cool creature, and we're getting a movie focused on him, which is kind of baffling considering he died at the end of The Return of the King. So is it a prequel? You know, I feel like Gollum was a nobody before Fellowship, so why is it The Hunt for Gollum? Is it after maybe The Hobbit? I don't know. Anyways, but Gollum is the one I would definitely want for this room. Highly, you know, want a Gollum. And, the other one is the Jupe Bongarts, the same who made Clicker Bust. So he's making one, and he kind of has like a hand bend over, like a crouching, and then a hand forward, and I assume holding the ring. That one's pretty cool as well. I want to see it finished. You know, I've been talking to Jupe about potentially making a bust using the same mold. You know, having like a sick-looking base and making me a bust. You know, I'd still take like a half torso bust of him. You know, basically from loincloth up. You know, see the loincloth? I mean, his feet in loincloth, it's cool and all, but as long as I get the upper torso, that's all I really care about. So I would be totally down to get that from Jupe. So, you know, come like, you know, August, we're going to be chatting about that. The life-size Gollum bust. Because we haven't seen anything from Infinity Studios yet. Now, I'm sure they'll probably make it. I mean, they just made Saruman. I would think, you know, if they're continuing the villain's path, they got to do a Gollum next. Or just maybe Lurtz or an Uruk-hai or an Orc. I mean, Lurtz would be the main Orc to go. But I would say Gollum's got to be that next one. So I'd love to see what they do. I mean, frankly, I kind of want the... You guys remember the Sideshow premium format I had where he was like reaching into the air, looking at the ring, smiling? Kind of like the final scene when he died in the lava. I want that. I want them to do a lava base and him holding the ring. Dude, how sick would that be? The final scene, Gollum holding the ring up high with a light up lava base. That would be sick. Infinity Studios needs to make that. So, yeah. But anyways, back to life size. Yeah, Gollum is my number 1 choice. If I had to choose a second, I mean, that's a tough one considering this room. It's not like I could do life-size Transformers, life-size Kong, or Zilla. I feel like Gollum is the only piece that truly works here. Couldn't do a turtle or a orc. They're too big. It's got to be Gollum. That's the only piece I would consider in this room for, like, you know, a full body life size. Nothing else honestly works. Well, if we got a life size Megan Fox and the likeness was perfect from Transformers 1 or 2, I'd take that. That, I guess, yeah, I would definitely take a life size Megan Fox. I mean, I had such a huge crush on her. Now, I think she's definitely ruined herself with all the surgeries over the years. When you compare her from Transformers 1 to now, you're a totally different person. And it's an absolute shame. Now, I was mentioning 2 statues at least for each room, so I got to mention what else I would want in this room. Honestly, probably a life-size Celine. Could you imagine that? Oh my gosh. Also, life-size Predator, life-size Alien, life-size It. Life-size Myers would be cool. I technically have life-size Chucky, but that's different. Life-size Celine, though, I would say. Also, the life-size Alita would be pretty sick. Or life-size Khaleesi, like a full-blown Khaleesi. But I would probably say Celine, though. I would love a life-size Celine. I think Celine is so incredibly attractive. I love her character. I love the Underworld movies. I like Kate Beckinsale in anything she's in. I've always been a big fan. So I would definitely be down to have a life-size Kate Beckinsale in the collection. As of now, I've only seen one life-size. It was by Andy Wright. He did basically a super long torso. The likeness was decent, not amazing. Definitely needs some work. I don't like a super long torso without arms. It just looked funny. If you would have added arms and a better base, I probably would have bought it. Anyways, folks, that is it. Those are the life-size statues Flankster would buy in a perfect scenario where I had the space, money, and means to do it. Of course, right now, I'm not planning on getting any more life-size. You know, Endo is kind of it. But who knows what the future holds. Like, comment, subscribe. Have a great day.